My first experience in Chicago, we met a woman who had an impact on our life. But we were in our early 20s. We were children. We were young kids. We didn't know the ways of the world. We were in a bar in East Meadow, Long Island, called Dugan's, which used to have really good wings, and I'm sure it still does. But we were there, and we were all boozed up. We were all fucked up, having fun. And this woman, attractive, in a stripper-esque quality. You know, she was hot. Not beautiful, but hot. She was dancing on the bar at Dugan's. And then my friend Joe, who was about maybe at that point a little under 300 pounds, also got on a bar and he was dancing. We all just stood there and stared at him because it was like amazing to watch. And this girl dancing on the bar as well finally got off the bar and she came over to me and she goes, "Who's this fat fuck?" And she pointed to him and I was like, "Oh, that's my friend Joe." And she started dating my friend and immediately she was a whirlwind. There was just fights and problems and websites that her name was mentioned on where people had accused her of all kinds of things like writing fake checks and stealing their money and being a con artist. I liked her immediately. I really liked her immediately. There was something about her I enjoyed. She was a lot of fun to go out to dinner with. And yes, she was ruining my friend's life, but someone's got to ruin your life. That's really what it comes down to. Someone has to come into your life and destroy it, unless you'll do it yourself. Somebody's got to come in with a big dick or a wet pussy and destroy your ability to make decisions. They'll destroy your relationship with your family. They'll destroy your motivation, your ability to work at your job. They'll put distance between you and your closest friends. Someone needs to do that. You don't live a full life unless you've met someone where you literally will follow them into like some. Now, you know, a lot of people don't go that route, which is fine too, and they have other things and whatever. But most people in the world, you're just waiting for that to happen. You want to meet somebody who will just say, fuck you, mom and dad, if you don't like this person. You don't get them. You don't understand them. So that's what it is. You're either going to destroy your own life or someone's going to do it for you. That's the way this world works. That's all. It'll be drugs, it'll be alcohol, it'll be food, it'll be sex, it'll be your own ambition, it'll be money, it'll be your fucking ungrateful children, it'll be the job that didn't give a fuck about you, it'll be some soulless multinational corporation that you spent 45 years in, that one day you just go in and you've got a gun in your pocket, your fucking pants, and you're ready to just blow everybody's head off, you know? Who knows? It's going to be one of those things. It might as well be a stripper from Chicago. It might as well be a cocaine addict from the suburbs of Chicago. Why not? Great tits. Why not? Something's going to get you. Don't get out of it alive, folks. It doesn't matter. Make your mistakes young. But we met her, and she was immediately a whirlwind. She was immediately somebody who had opinions about everybody, about everything, you know? I saw this. My dad's wife came into his life. My dad had one failed marriage. She came in. She's like, this is the way your life is going to be run. And my dad's Irish, and Irish men marry their mothers. And he goes, okay, good. I need a mother. I need someone to come in and tell me what to do. Where's the washer and dryer? How does all of it work? When do we pay our bills? The first of the month? Okay, I'll try that. For years and years, we've been paying them whenever we could, but we'll try to pay them on the first, honey. That's a good idea. She came in and just cleaned it up, you know? This woman came in. I don't want to say her name. I'm not going to say her name. We're going to call her, because this was her nickname. Her nickname, we called her Blagojevich, because Rod Blagojevich was, I believe, the governor of Illinois, and Rod Blagojevich, of course, was a shady guy. He was an American politician, the 40th governor of Illinois, and then he was impeached, convicted. He was removed from office for corruption, bribes, all of that stuff. But my friend, you know, his parents, you know, being boomers, they were just kind of like letting it happen. They realized, like I did, that, you know, that generation of people from Long Island, those boomer parents, they were not helicopter parents, I'll tell you that much. It wasn't like the Asian tiger mom where they were just like, hey, let it happen. You know, we lived our life. We had our journey. You're going to have yours. they'd, like many of these relationships, they break up, they get back together, they break up, they get back together. She goes to jail. You know how relationships are, folks. You get back together. Somebody goes to jail for identity theft. You get out of jail. You get a little coke. You put some of that on the street. You make a little money. You lose a little money. You have to go back to fuck some other guy you don't know, and you fucking write some fake checks. You take his credit card. You take an advance on that. You're bouncing around. You get it. It's relationships. That's what they are. They're all deals. We're all making deals every minute of the day. She was always up to something, phone conversations and parking lots where no one could hear her, that type of stuff. A fun woman. Again, someone that I watched from afar and up close. I had no real investment in the outcome. I didn't want her to murder my friend, but I knew that was a possibility, and that would have been okay too. Not that I wanted him to die, but sometimes people make a choice and they can't unmake it. You got to follow it to its logical conclusion. We always used to kid around. She had an older grandmother, and we said, she's going to kill that woman. She's going to push that woman down the stairs to try to inherit money or something. We always believed that, and we thought my friend would go along with it. We go, he'll probably do it too. It's just what they have to do. Sometimes you can't get in the way of somebody's story. Sometimes you can't sit down with someone and go, listen, you have to be a good moral person. It would be a waste of their time. Not everybody's here to do that. Some people need to be that person, and you can't get in their way. So many of you are moralists. It's so boring. Oh, stop doing drugs. Stop stealing money. Don't be a whore. Oh, fuck you. Some people find that that's the only way they can feel free, the only way they can feel alive. It's really not my business. It's truly not my business. I'd rather you not abuse children. I'd rather you not. But I will say, I think this woman, for all of her, negatives, was a decent mother, She had kids from many different races. She was woke. And I remember one day, we were sitting in my friend's home in Long Island, and the state police showed up, and they knocked on the door, and they said, is Blagojevich there? They didn't use that word. They used her real name. And my friend Ryan was like, no, I don't, what, who? And they said, well, this is how you work. Because at that time, she was on Indiana's Most Wanted. She was on a list of people from Indiana's Most Wanted for fake checks, I think, identity theft, things like that. She's the most wanted. They wanted her. The state police showed up and they said, hey, where's Blagojevich? And he was like, she's not here. And they said, listen, this is how it works. We have a warrant for the property. We're going to go in. And if we find her, you're going to go away as an accessory, because that's how this works. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Where is she? And my friend just looked at them and he went, she's in the kitchen. And they got her. They took her away. And I remember my friend's father, he said, you know what was scary about it? He goes, you guys, you're big fucking guys. My friend's like a bodybuilder type guy in Long Island. He goes, you guys are big fucking guys. He goes, if state police had showed up to take you guys to jail, you would have been panicked. He goes, you would have seen it in your face. He goes, this bitch showed no emotion. She just walked the fuck out of the house stone cold. He goes, she's a career criminal. I remember having dinner with them. And he goes, she's a career criminal. I remember the first time I was in Chicago, because that's where she came from. She came from the suburbs. But I remember we drove to Blagojevich's house to give her dogs, because her and my friend had just, this is true, a guy had left. They became friends with this guy. He went to Europe for a year, and they were, I think, maybe supposed to get his mail or whatever. They just moved into his apartment. They just moved into his apartment and started living there. And then until that scam was up, and they were thrown out of that. So these are just, they're grifters. They were living in someone else's apartment. I mean, I came over, I go, whose home is this? They go, oh, it's some guy. We're just living here. He had no idea they were living in his fucking apartment. So when that, unfortunately, when that was, when time was up on that scam, she went back to Chicago, and she is doing, odd jobs. I mean, I don't know that she ever had a job. She was dancing. I think she was stripping. She was all over the place. And so we take this road trip with these two dogs to Chicago. and we visit the house of Blagojevich. And we meet Blagojevich's mother. And this woman was wild. 300 pounds if she was a pound. Pack of Marlboro menthol lights. Mocha Frappuccino Grande every day in a big fucking truck. I was in the front seat with her and she was just screaming on a Nextel at somebody. I think she was in trucking or whatever. She was just wild. She was just a tough bitch. And that was Blagojevich's mother. I was like, this is a wild family. Her dad, I don't remember her dad at all, which either means he was like a soft-spoken guy or I don't know. But the mom was the dominant force in the house. A no-nonsense, take-no-prisoners bitch who had built a business. Fuck you. She knows money. She knew her business inside and out. Don't fuck with her type of lady. Respected the hell out of her. Only knew her for a few hours, really, but enjoyed her, you know? And then, we hung out. It was St. Patrick's Day. We all got drunk. They dyed the River green. And my friend and me dropped the dogs off. And then we went home. It was a fucking really interesting relationship to watch. It ended as these things do. My friend started dating another woman from Long Island, and they started doing heroin. And this girl had a few DWs and is serving, I think, almost a decade in prison right now. Would I have wanted it another way? The answer is no. Because we just have to let things happen. Would I have wanted them to be, missionaries for the church, going around and trying to show people the light of Christ? I don't know. No. So my message out there is if you have fun people in your life, and I mean truly fun people, not like fun people like, oh my God, Shelly is so fun. She has a few drinks and she makes everyone dance. I mean really fun people. Indiana's Most Wanted, state police, people getting arrested, front page news articles. You won't leave your wallet in the room with them. If you have one of those, keep your distance, be smart, but also don't try to make them into something they're not. It just isn't going to work. Maybe later on in life, they realize the errors of their ways. I'm sure, whatever. I'm not saying go out there and hurt people, but if you know somebody and they're a con artist, a cheater, a grifter, a derelict, but they're fun at dinner. It's so important to be fun at dinner. Go out with a substitute teacher and listen to her mouth. Listen to her talk about grading papers and parent-teacher conferences, and you will run back to somebody who's on the most wanted list. If just for the fucking story. You're only on this planet once. How bored do you want to be? How meaningless do you want all of your interactions to be? You got to find some people that spice it up. You do. And that was who this was. That was Blagojevich. She was spice. My friend would call me, our other friend, not the one that was dating her, but another guy. He'd be like, yeah, man. He's like, she's in real trouble now. They got her on this and that. But somehow she's out. She made bail. She's back out. I don't judge. I mean, we all do in our own way. But you just got to let it happen, folks. She was a fun woman. I feel bad that she's in jail now. I feel bad that negatively impacts her family. I feel bad that my friend went on and started doing heroin. I don't like any of those things. They're not good things. But my role in that situation was nothing. It was simply to watch. Many of you think you're too powerful. This is the problem. Your little sit down, not with, you're going to have a talk with someone. You're going to have a talk with them. You're going to straighten it out. You're going to go, you should not keep doing coke with this stripper. This has got a hot box and you should. No, you gotta just rein it in and slow it down. You're living stop. You're wasting your time. What are you going to say? It's obvious what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen. You don't start dating a stripper and think that it's going to work out. It's not going to work out. But it's going to be fun. Doesn't anyone care about fun anymore? Doesn't anyone want to be entertained? Doesn't anyone want to be in a car with somebody who's committed multiple felonies and will continue to? It's good. Listen, you can't do it your whole life. You got to grow up. I'm 35. It's not fun anymore. It's a lot of fun in your early 20s. Be friends with criminals in your early 20s. It's worth it. You know, in the society that we live, really everything's a crime. Everything's a hustle. Everything's fake before it's real. It's all bullshit first, right? You want to be an investor. You want to be, in real estate. You want to be this. You want to be that. Whatever you want to be, you're not that when you start. And eventually you have to become that. And I think that you could get a lot of inspiration from criminals. You could get a lot of inspiration from people that literally have to do everything themselves. Criminals get very little help, unless they work on Wall Street. They get very little help from the government. Everything's a grassroots operation. I mean, this woman had to knock over men on her own time. She learned all those skills. Somebody who doesn't have any morals, that sees life as a zero-sum game. They want to claw your eyes out, take everything from you. They just try to, that's why they're so good in bed. They're just trying to fuck their soul out. They don't have one. They're trying to feel something and they can't, you know? The people that are the best fucks aren't the people you're necessarily going to marry, but they are the people where you should probably hide your wallet or at least lock it up until they leave. You might not want to get too deep. I got a little too deep with some of these people because I was a druggie, and drugs make you sloppy. They make you reckless, but you should observe life. I talk to elites. I talk to guys who go to Ivy League schools, and their lives, all they've spent their whole fucking life, from the lacrosse team to the fucking Ivy League school to the private club they go to with their dad. It's all the same fucking people. How boring is that? Don't you want to be doing coke in a pay-by-the-hour motel in Tampa? Yes, you do. You want to have a full life. They always get gotten. It's just the way it is. Most of them end up in a cell. But, if you're lucky enough, you'll know them for a brief period of time. And they'll enrich your life with their chaos, with their insanity, with their scams and their scheming. You can't understand America without understanding crime. And I don't mean, low-level, desperate street crime. I mean institutional criminality, crime. People that are willing to find ways to subvert the democratic process, to get around the law. This is what we've done forever. The Wild West, the mafia. We love criminals. We respect them. We have them on our walls in our house. We idolize them. We watch films about them. Because what do they represent down deep? They represent freedom. Freedom to do whatever the fuck they want, to build their own empire, to not have a boss, to not take any shit from anyone, to not have to worry about your family or your friends, to be able to protect people, to be an outlaw. These are the things they represent. Now, in reality, that's not always the case. In fact, it's rarely the case. But it's what they represent. What they represent is we like that. We like Trump. We like Trump's a criminal. He's a criminal. He's a big real estate developer with a bunch of buildings in Manhattan. He's done business with a ton of shady people his entire career. We like that. Fuck yeah. He can say whatever he wants. He can live in a big gold apartment and just fire off tweets from the shitter. You say that I'm oversimplifying things. No, you love criminals too. Why do you think you watch all those Martin Scorsese movies? You love them. You just don't want to see what it really is, what it truly is. You just like criminals when they're done up in movies, when it's Hollywood. But I like the organic version, the grassroots, the people that are just getting started. And unfortunately, Blagojevich, she never made it to, really fucking people over, inheriting that company her mother ran and, really get involved in some import-export shit, getting mobbed up. Maybe one day it'll happen. We don't know. There's a singer that I like who said, she goes, I don't do things for the moral of the story. I do them for the story. And I think that's where I've come around to on Blagojevich. Just a great American story. A girl raised wealthy. No reason for her to behave the way she did. None. Zero. None. That makes it all the more fun. That makes it fun. If she was a desperate girl coming from the projects who needed to do this, it would be sad. But this story's fun because she comes from an upper middle class upbringing and she still wanted to go into the dark corners of the world. That's a fun broad. If you try too hard to stop those people, you will get involved with those people and become those people. And then their horrors become your horrors. That's the problem. And maybe that's what you wanted anyway. Maybe all the help you were trying to give them is because you just want the chaos and the drama, because you thrive on it and you want to do it. But you don't want to steal anyone's identity, but you like the idea that you're in this train wreck's life. Step back. Watch it like you watch Ozark. You try to help the people on Ozark? No. Why? Because they're not real. Just like this. Just like anything. It's not real. It's just a story being written somewhere and you have no control over it. The writers decide what's going to happen. They decide who dies, who lives, who goes to jail, and you just watch it. And the minute you try to involve yourself in it, even in the crusade of moralism, I'm going to do good. You become the story. You can't tell the story if you become the story. So step back, get away, walk the other way. There's a few people in life that you truly love and you truly care about. And I'm telling you right now, don't even help them because you'll hurt them. You'll hurt them if you help them. If someone you know falls and you hear them screaming, and I literally mean this, if you hear an elderly person that you know screaming, put in your ear pods and just listen to Doja Cat. Listen to Juicy Juicy. And eventually the screaming will stop because that person will have either given up or they'll die. But it was never your business anyway. You know? People make their own decisions. It's not a big fucking deal. God bless Blagojevich. Hopefully your kids turn out great. They will. The family has money. My friend, good guy, love him. He'll straighten himself out. Or he won't. Again, not my thing. But enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride out there. You know? That's all it is. That's what the billionaires do. They enjoy the ride. They manage it when they can. They get in. But at the end of the day, what happens, happens.